everybody. I have got an episode for you today. You are going to experience information overload as I'm discussing how to start homeschooling. Now, there's a lot of information to get through, so let's begin. And this is Aussies Do Homeschool Season. Just before I begin, if you could press that subscribe button down below and the little bell, you will be notified every time I drop a new video, which is handy because I'll be popping up a new video every week with a step-by-step guide on how to start homeschooling, especially for beginners. So last week I spoke about what is homeschooling, and we spoke a little bit about the different styles that were out there of homeschooling, and it's a great place to start if you want to get an idea of who you are as a homeschool mum and a homeschool family. I'm going to pop a link to that video at the end of this one, so that's a great place to begin. Today we're going to be discussing how to start homeschooling. It's a massive subject and there's a lot to get through. I'm going to have heaps of resources for you, and there'll be many links down below to help you start your journey. Now, when I first started as a homeschool mum, even before that actually, I Googled my little heart out. I watched many YouTube videos, and I'm hoping that with these videos I can save you a little bit of time and give you a one-stop shop for everything homeschool, especially for the newbies out there and even the people still deciding whether they want to homeschool. Okay, so there's a couple of websites out there that I believe are the best place to start if you are a new homeschool family, and I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do today. When you're a new homeschool family and you're just beginning, the best place to start is the government website. Now, every area, every state, every territory, every province, whatever you live in, you'll have some authority that will overlook homeschool. So in my case, it is the Queensland government. I'm going to show you here, if I just pop in homeschool and then I put in gov and my state, which is Queensland, which I just put in QLD. Now you could do the same. You could put homeschool gov Victoria. You could put homeschool gov Alabama. I've tried many of them and they all have some particular kind of authority, and it's usually very easy to find within the first few search results. So I pop that in and instantly it comes up at the very top of the page almost. Home Education Queensland. Now if I tap into that website, come up on the page Home Education. Basically says in Queensland, registration for home education is a legal option for your child's education, and it means that the child is provided by one or both of the child's parents or a registered teacher to teach them in the place of their residence. If you scroll down, it's going to show you what your responsibilities are. Now, your responsibilities as the child's educator are to plan and implement your child's education program, and we'll get a little bit into that in a minute, provide a suitable learning environment, and provide the necessary resources to support their learning. Now, this doesn't have to be things that you buy. This can also be adventures. It can be journals. It can be visits to the library, visits to the museum. So we have to think a little bit more broadly. The next point is monitor and assess your child's educational progress. And then the last point is continue to meet that standard. Now, if we go down a little bit further, we come to prepare an application. So we press on application for registration, and we come to an application for registration for home education. If you have more than one child, you need to know that you're going to need an application for each child. So if you've got lots of kids, good luck. Okay, so you have the application, you've printed it out. You can also fill it out online in Queensland, but this may be different in your area. You have the application, and the first thing to note is the registration information. A child cannot be lawfully home educated unless they are registered under the Act. Now that is just in regard to filling out this application itself and being accepted. The next thing I want to note is the lodgement address. Again, this is going to vary depending on where you are. This one actually has to be sent by mail, but maybe in your area you can send it by email. The next thing to note is some of the supporting documents that you need to include in your application. Now, in Queensland, our application has to include an educational program. We also have to put in a certified copy of the child's birth certificate, and we have to sign in front of a witness the statutory declaration that's found at the end. Now, once you have your application filled out and your educational program, if that's applicable to you, you've signed all the documents in front of a witness, you can then send in the application. If we look in the application, some of the things that they're going to want to see, and this will be the same wherever you are your basic details. So your address, the child's name, your name. Other things will be educational details of the child. What year are they going to be studying? Some of your child's details, their age, their full name, date of birth, any previous names that they may have had, where the child resides if it's different, and also where you're going to be educating your child, where you're setting up your homeschool. The teacher that's going to be teaching your child, now remember that can be a parent or a registered teacher. That's in Queensland, so again, check your area. And then my one talks about the educational program that you're going to include with your application. So you have all these documents, you sign those documents and you send them all in, and then you are on your way. Now I'm going to show you now the educational program that goes with the Queensland application. Okay, so in the educational program, the first thing you're going to notice is that it is set out first in a review of the entire year, and then it is broken down into subjects. Now these subjects are broken down into blocks, what they call study blocks, and you can also call this, say, a term. And then in these blocks, it's broken down into 4 particular areas you have to consider. One of those is teaching. What are you going to teach your child? Say if we take math for an example, you will put mathematics down, what you're going to teach them in that particular unit, so say multiplication, how you're going to teach them, how you're going to show them what multiplication is, the resources you're going to use to teach them multiplication, and then how you're going to look at their progress, how you're going to show what they've learned. It could be a test at the end of every unit in mathematics. If it's an English subject, you could show a project. If it's an oral presentation, it could be shown in a video. And some of those you're going to then use as samples to do your yearly reporting. Okay, so on the government website, you'll probably find a template that you can use. That's true for Queensland, but again, you need to check your own area. Now on the Queensland website, they do have a template, and they also have a sample of the program. So you can see what they have put in the sample, and you can apply that to your own, changing what you need to change for your own circumstances and your child's interests. Now at the end of the application itself, they have a checklist to make sure that you've remembered every single document and you've done everything you needed to do to make that application finalised. So you pop that all together, send it to the authority, and you are ready to go. You just have to wait for a reply confirming that you have been accepted as a homeschool family. Now, once you've filled in your forms, you've started homeschooling, you're going strong, you're getting through those terms with all that beautiful curriculum and teaching going on, you will still need to report once a year in Queensland. Now this is true for quite a few states and territories, and also true for other countries, states and territories, as I've noted. So you're sending in saying, my child has learned this, and this year. Here are a couple examples of what they've done this year to learn it, and this is my new plan for the next year. That's it. So once a year we have to do that, but I do encourage you to check your particular authority on homeschool and see what their requirements are as well. Now, what I'm asking today for you to comment on below is, if you're in another state or territory than Queensland or another country, I would love for you to pop in your favorite link or your most useful link to a website in your particular area. So I hope you have a better understanding of how to start homeschool, or at least a good place to start your research. Today we have talked about finding your government authority. That is super important. We have covered the application process today and also writing up a program for your child. This is a great exercise to do even if it is not a requirement of your area, because it's going to give you an overview of what you're going to teach your child, which is handy sometimes. So next week we're going to be talking about curriculum. Now it is a big subject. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of a particular curriculum. What I'm more so going to talk about is how do you decide what curriculum you want to do. Now remember, if you like this video and you want to see more on my channel, please press that like and subscribe button down below and hit that bell because it will notify you when I'm dropping a brand new episode. Thanks guys.
What were you doing?
I actually